I had the pleasure to work with really good engineers and a ton of mediocre engineers. And I think by definition, it absolutely makes sense that the most engineers you will encounter, and probably even the engineers you have in your team, if you're a PM or just like an owner of a smaller company, are mediocre devs. And there's nothing inherently wrong about that. And it's not me saying I'm such a good dev and like everyone else is shit. That's not what it's about. I'm just thinking that there was a huge advantage for exactly those teams pre-AI. Because often the product vision is blurry. Sometimes software isn't even the core product of the company. And this leads to basically people shipping only what they can at the speed that's quite slow. And first, this sounds like it's a detriment or it's a bad thing. But I actually think that the speed enabled by AI coding does more harm than it does good for exactly those teams. Because like if we're thinking about it, you get speed, and for that you need competence and discipline. And competence really is more like taste at this point. I'm sure like you've heard it 1,000 of times. It's a dead term at this point, but stay with me for a second here. So let's establish that you get speed for discipline and taste. And in those teams where you have a lot of mediocre devs, a lot of them probably don't even like their craft. They're just there basically to collect their paycheck. You lack both. You lack the discipline because they don't really care about the product. And you lack the experience that leads to acquired taste. So you might think, okay, cool, we're using coding tools, Codex, Cloud Code, whatever. We're shipping way more. And that might be the case. And you're probably also writing more lines of code, or the team writes more lines of code, but you don't get the benefit or the outcome you expected. You are thinking, okay, there will be more features, there will be a better product, but a lot of the times the speed to ship was the only thing making the product better. Because often it's not about the number of features or the number of integrations or whatever, it's serving your customer and creating value for them in a really specific point and doing that well. So where do I want to go with that? I think it's just about don't only see speed as a good thing. It can be really detrimental, and good things most of the times take time, right? So don't push your people to write more lines of code if it doesn't make sense. And reevaluate the use of coding agents. Everyone uses them, everyone should use them, but be aware and also be honest to yourself. Am I myself maybe a mediocre dev? Am I really like in the perfect spot to use such tools to the best of to the advantages I'm seeing on X every day, where people ship crazy stuff with little effort or super fast? And also if you're a PM or a company owner, please keep in mind that more lines of code and more features shipped isn't necessarily a good metric you should aim for.